Hey everyone, and welcome. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for this explainer. Today, we are stepping into the high-stakes, fast-paced world of modern software testing. And even more importantly, we're going to look at its thrilling AI-driven evolution. If you want to understand how our digital world actually stays afloat behind the scenes, and how artificial intelligence is just completely rewriting the rules of quality assurance, you are in exactly the right place. So let's dive right into this.
Look, every application you use daily has bugs. Sometimes you see them, and sometimes you don't. But I want you to picture this. Imagine YouTube goes down completely, or your banking transaction randomly fails right in the middle of buying a house. How about an e-commerce app accidentally charging you twice for the same pair of shoes? Or, way worse, a hospital system dashboard glitches out and stores the wrong patient data. These things actually happen every single day, and here's the absolutely crucial point. These aren't just minor technical hiccups. They are absolute business disasters.
Let's make this really concrete for a second. Imagine a doctor enters a specific medication dosage into a healthcare app, but because of a bug hidden in the code, the app saves the wrong value. The patient receives an incorrect medication. So, would you trust that software? Of course not. The human and emotional stakes of testing are just massive. It is quite literally a matter of safety and survival.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the actual cost of bugs, define what real testing actually looks like, run through the core methodologies, and then compare manual versus automated testing. Finally, we're going to dive into the really exciting stuff, the AI revolution and what the future QA engineer looks like.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the cost of software bugs and protecting the business. You know, testing isn't just some boring technical checklist to tick off before launch. It's a literal business shield. Software bugs cost companies billions of dollars every single year. Just think about an e-commerce giant like Amazon for a second. If their checkout process fails for, say, 10 minutes, millions of dollars in revenue just vanish instantly. Users get super frustrated, they click away, and that hard-earned brand trust evaporates. Testing actually protects all of these critical pillars: your revenue, corporate money, brand reputation, user safety, and of course, consumer trust.
Moving on to Section 2. What is real testing? We're moving well beyond random clicks here.
Think of it kind of like a restaurant. If a kitchen serves up food without checking the ingredients or the quality first, the meal might be spoiled, or it might just be the completely wrong order. Testing software is exactly the same concept. We're checking the quality before it ever reaches the customer's table. Beginners usually think testing simply means typing in a valid password, hitting enter, and being like, cool, I'm done. But experienced pros, they actively hunt for risks. They check for SQL injections, which is basically when hackers try to sneak malicious code right into a text box. Or they test what happens when a session times out, if there's a sudden network drop, or if a user just copy-pastes a bunch of weird text. That active hunting for the weird edge cases, that is the professional testing mindset.
Which leads us perfectly to our core definition. Software testing is the process of ensuring applications work correctly, business logic is accurate, and users are protected from failures. It's really all about predicting risks and finding the breaks in the armor way before the application ever goes live.
And I absolutely love this quote from our sources. Good testers don't test software, they test assumptions. This is just incredibly powerful. You see, developers naturally assume that users will behave correctly and follow the rules. Testers are the ones who must constantly look at that and ask, well, what if they don't?
Let's look at Section 3, core types of testing and building the foundation.
Testers basically build an armor of quality using a few specific methodologies. Functional testing checks what the system actually does, making sure the search bar actually searches. Regression testing is super vital. If a developer fixes a payment bug, regression ensures they didn't accidentally break the login page while they were at it. Smoke testing is just a quick check to see if the app simply opens without instantly crashing. Then we have performance testing for heavy traffic, like simulating a massive Black Friday sale. We've got security testing to keep hackers out, API testing for all the backend data, and UI testing for the visual layout. Each of these layers acts as a really vital safety net.
Now for Section 4, manual versus automation testing and how we scale the process.
First off, we really need to intentionally move away from this outdated stereotype that manual testing is bad. It is absolutely not. Humans are brilliant at observation, intuition, and actually validating the user experience. An automated script might pass the test with flying colors, but a human will instantly notice if the app is just incredibly annoying to use. That being said, manual testing is pretty slow and struggles hard with repetitive regression. And that is exactly where automation comes in. Automation gives us incredible speed, scale, and integration into CI/CD pipelines, meaning code is tested automatically the exact second it's written. But traditional automation definitely has its own flaws. Scripts can be flaky, meaning they just fail randomly for no apparent reason. And the locators they rely on, like XPaths, which are kind of like the coordinates the code uses to find a button on the screen, can be super brittle and break instantly if the app's design changes even slightly.
This actually brings up a huge fear in the industry right now, but I want to be clear. Companies are not replacing testers with automation. They are replacing repetitive work. In modern agile companies, where new software releases happen literally every day, manual-only testing is just impossible. Automation tools are there to eliminate the mundane, boring, repetitive tasks, which completely frees up human testers to use their brilliant intuition where it actually matters most.
Which brings us to Section 5, the AI testing revolution. Welcome to the future, everyone. Artificial intelligence and large language models are actively transforming everything we just talked about.
The crucial takeaway here is that AI is no longer just some trendy buzzword. It is practically doing the heavy lifting in QA right now. AI can read a dry requirements document and instantly generate positive, negative, and edge test cases. Tools using LLMs can write actual Playwright automation code, which is a really popular testing framework, directly from a simple text prompt. And remember those brittle, broken locators we just talked about? Well, we now have self-healing automations where AI identifies nearby elements and semantic patterns to actually fix broken scripts on the fly. We've got visual AI that checks if the layout is broken rather than just blindly reading the HTML. And incredibly, we even have video to test analysis. This is where AI watches a literal screen recording of an app being used and automatically builds a testing workflow right out of it. It's wild.
And this takes us to the absolute bleeding edge of the industry, autonomous QA agents. Tomorrow's systems aren't just going to blindly follow the rigid scripts we write for them. They are going to actively think. They follow this incredible workflow. First, they analyze the workflows. Then they decide on the actions to take. They validate the results. And finally, they adapt dynamically if the app changes. It is a completely autonomous loop of continuous quality assurance.
Let's wrap up with Section 6, the future QA engineer and adapting to intelligence. Let's dismiss all the fear-mongering right now and focus purely on empowerment.
Look, AI isn't going to eliminate skilled testers, but testers who completely ignore AI, they're definitely going to struggle. The future QA engineer needs a totally new toolkit. You need to master AI prompts and tools, you need to understand deep API and architecture thinking, and you need to focus heavily on overall workflow automation. Future testers are going to evolve from mere test executors to brilliant designers of intelligent, automated testing ecosystems. You aren't just finding bugs anymore. You are architecting the very systems that find the bugs autonomously.
To wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a memorable, maybe slightly provocative assignment. The next time you open up YouTube or Gmail or Amazon or whatever app you use the absolute most, don't just consume it. Put on your tester hat. Ask yourself, what if? Can you identify 3 bugs in the app you use the most? I guarantee, once you start looking at your digital world with this totally transformed critical mindset, you will literally never look at software the same way again. Thank you so much for joining me to explore the fascinating world of software testing and AI automation. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next one.